Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I have a package to open. This was just sent to me by my buddy Ryan, who I've become pretty close to. Ryan and I talk quite a bit at this point. We're working on some kind of exciting stuff together, none of which is real yet, but we're a couple of knife nerds who are having a lot of fun, chatting a lot of the time. And in this box is, as you read in the description, a Microtech, I don't know if you say Dirac? I think it's Dirac. I don't know. That. And also the giant mouse Ace Biblio, which I loaned him to check out, and he's sending back. So I'm busting it open today with my Stitch, because I just love the Stitch. I really like this knife. My full review is coming very soon on this guy. But yeah, I'm really excited to check out the Dirac, because it's one of the models that I've been curious about for a while. I've had a couple of Microtech OTFs. I've had a couple of out the side automatics now as well. And I've also tried like the SOCOM and the Sigil, which are manual knives, and I've had quite a few of their knives at this point. But even though I've tried a couple of the OTFs, I haven't tried a Dirac. I don't know. A Dirac. No, that's probably not how you say it. I don't know if I'm opening this box the right way. I feel like I am. Seems right. We're just going to go for it. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, the OTFs of theirs that I have had have been, the first one I actually had, funny enough, was a Combat Troodon. It was a single-edged one. It's a really cool knife that I quite liked, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. But it was very big, frankly bigger as an OTF than I would really carry. So I ended up letting that one go. And then I had, which has been on this channel, the Ultratech Bounty Hunter, but it was with the Hellhound blade shape. That was one of the coolest OTFs that has ever been made, in my opinion. But it wasn't very realistic as like an EDC knife for me. And not only the fact that it's an automatic, and so I have to worry somewhat about carrying it, California and all that, but also just the utility of the Hellhound blade. Even though I think it's one of the coolest looking blades ever, it just wasn't a super useful knife for me. So I ended up letting it go, and I traded that for an Olamic Wayfarer, a very nice one, which I then sold to purchase my Arius that I now have. So no regrets there. Anyways, here is my Biblio back from Ryan. He enjoyed this knife enough that he bought a Biblio for himself as he sent that back. And then in here we have the Dirac, and this is the Delta, so it's the big boy. There's a smaller version of the Dirac, and then there's this larger one. Ryan let me know that this finish on here, I guess, is somewhat hard to come by. It's like a distressed OD green. It looks pretty cool. It reminds me of my Bounty Hunter, the way it's like purposely messed up. I guess when he was looking at these, part of why he went with this, not realizing that it had some rarity to it, was because he knew he'd have to worry less about scuffing it up, since it comes pre-scuffed up. But apparently that makes it more sought after, the fact that it's like this. This is bigger than I was expecting it to be. I knew it was going to be a larger OTF, but this one's, yeah, bigger than I was expecting it to be. The real difference that makes this stand apart in contrast to their other OTFs at Microtech is that the switch is on kind of the face of it rather than up here on the spine, if you will, on the side. So on my Ultratech, my Troodon, and all of the OTFs that I've even played with that have been Microtechs, because I've also played with the UTX 85 and the UTX 70. Those are all basically Ultratechs, but I really want to try a Cypher at some point as well. Anyways, those have all been on the side here, whereas this one you lay kind of flat in your hand and boom. That is a sweet blade. So this one is the double-edged variant of the knife. I believe with the Dirac there are multiple blade shape options, just like there are with the Ultratech, etc., and the Combat Troodon and the Troodon and all that. I think you can get different blade shapes on this one, although I feel like, now I'm curious, now I feel like all the ones of these that I have seen have been double-edged. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't pay all that much attention to OTFs in general. I've had a few, I'm sure I'll have more. They're so much fun. But I've never ended up keeping one for more than really a couple of months. That reminds me, I did have another Ultratech that was I think it was a USN Gathering exclusive Hellhound blade shape from like 2017 or something that I picked up just because I got a really good deal on it, and I had it at the same time as my Bounty Hunter Hellhound. Ended up selling that one before I let go of the Bounty Hunter because the Bounty Hunter was cooler. Anyways, so I've had a couple of Ultratechs, I guess. I'm just realizing that as I'm filming this. Anyways, this is different. It's going to be interesting for me to decide how I feel about the switch being here as opposed to on kind of the side. Because to me it makes sense. Like Benchmade on their Infidel, I think I have that model right, puts it on here, and I had played with that before, and it felt a little bit interesting to me that it would deploy this way, because then I turn it in my hand to be how I'm actually going to like use the blade. I don't use blades like this. That's not the way my hand goes. It goes like this so that I can index and cut. But I don't know, maybe I'll find that the button feels better this way. It doesn't feel that weird to me at the moment to just kind of, I can even hold it this way like I would normally hold my OTFs. Come on, focus. And then I just kind of turn it in my hand and my thumb is there. But my fingers are still oriented in the right way to just move my thumb off the button and onto this jimping. So I don't know. I don't necessarily right off the bat see it being a big disadvantage to have the button over here. But it is different. And it is sometimes a little bit funky. I guess if you don't like having much of a thumb ramp, maybe this is better, because the button being there, or the switch on their other OTFs, it does inherently give you like kind of a big thumb ramp there, which is more aggressive the way that they step those switches than just this jimping patch is. So I don't know. There's some stuff to unpack here and figure out. This one, as all of their OTFs, is guilty of having the giant glass breaker on the back. I saw a really funny meme the other day. I think it was my buddy Mr. Fisk who reposted it. I don't know if he created it or what. Maybe it was just in his stories. Anyways, he put, it's been like 24,000 and some odd days since the last time I had to use a glass breaker on my knife. And then he was like, correction, I've never used a glass breaker on my knife. And I replied to that story that it was so true, because I have never used a glass breaker on any knife. Don't plan to ever use one. I'm confident enough that I won't ever use one, that I can confidently say I'd rather not have one on any knife ever. It bugs me that Microtech does this. I don't know. Maybe there's a thing out there that you can replace it with easily, but I don't know. I wish that it came without this, and then Microtech like sold these, and they were like, you can add a glass breaker to your knife. That makes more sense to me than putting a glass breaker on everyone's knife, forcing me to have a glass breaker sticking out of the top of my pocket. It's just, I don't like that. I think that's dumb. Sorry, Microtech. I'm a fan of a lot of the things that you do, but maybe if you're like a law enforcement officer or something, you see yourself needing to like bust through a window, I don't know. It just seems very Mall Ninja to me in a way that I find trashy to have glass breakers on knives. Maybe that's a perception thing, but to me, gas station knives are what have glass breakers on them, and delinquents are the people who use glass breakers on knives, not people who are real human beings that are positively contributing members to society who happen to like to EDC good knives. Like a knife this expensive and this nice, it seems like a weird degradation of the rest of the knife in my mind to put a glass breaker on it. I don't know. I don't know if you can tell. I've got feelings about glass breakers. Think they're dumb, but we'll leave it at that for now. I would be curious, someone down in the comments, if you do know if there's an easy replacement component that you can get from Microtech or aftermarket that's for Microtechs that replaces these and just makes it not there. I would be very curious to know about that, because it would make me, frankly, more apt to buy and keep a good OTF if I didn't have to have that on there. And maybe the answer is just that it's a different brand that I end up having to go with. I don't know what other OTFs. I've been thinking about trying a Guardian Tactical one. I don't know if they do glass breakers. I don't know. I don't keep up with the world of OTFs. But now I'm off in the weeds. This is an unboxing of the Dirac Delta. I don't know what this finish is called. I'll have to check with Ryan, and I'll talk about that in my first impressions and review the more of the specs about this knife. But it is a Dirac Delta double edge. This one's an M390, as all Microtechs are. It's USA made, and it's a sweet little double edge. I shouldn't say little. It's a sweet double edged OTF with the switch in a different place from Microtech. So plenty more to come on this guy. I'll be reviewing it, and Ryan has given me the go-ahead to carry it, use it, and so I look forward to that. It'll be fun. Anyways, thanks guys for checking in, and I will see you on the next one.